Hello guys, good afternoon. This is actually a repeat video from yesterday. I wasn't too comfortable with what I put out, so I decided to talk about the same thing again. So anybody who joins or sees this video, thank you for joining. And I am going to add some new things that were not in the previous video. Okay, so I'm going to begin. I went to Owners Night last week. That was the night before my godfather died. And I just wanted to give you guys a review of it. Basically, from what I gathered from going there, Owners Night was for owners of property and people who wanted to own property in New York City. Also, what I saw, what it was is one-on-one consulting with people who are in the Department of Buildings, in the Department of Environmental Protection, and also the Department of Finance. So you can go there, you can submit your complaints or pay any bills or whatever you have. It's really great way to connect with the housing department in your city, because sometimes when you call them on the phone you get a whole bunch of runaround, but when you are able to sit down and speak to them one-on-one, they it's a little bit more personable and they take the time to care for you. Now they are short-staffed, but they're very nice, very polite. Oh, hi Auntie, how are you? The other thing that I wanted to mention, though, is that it is a long wait. Even though they say to you that you have to be there between 6 and 7 p.m., I didn't get out there until 9 p.m. You have to wait just to get on the elevator, and sometimes that's an hour wait. So if you have to use the bathroom, it's best that you go before you even enter into the building. So that's number one. Now, I did see, if I'm not mistaken, I did see them let up a pregnant lady and an elderly lady. They had to be escorted. The problem is that when they came back, I believe they lost their place online and they had to go back to the end of the line again. So when you do go, it's best that you go with someone else so that they can either hold your place in line. That's number one. Number two, when you get up there, sometimes when you get up to the area where you are going to meet the counselor, sometimes that counselor is already speaking to several other people. So it's better, if you want to speak to more than one department when you get up there, for you to sign your name to speak to one person and whoever else you live with to sign their name to speak to the other person. This way you out faster. Now, so that's the pros of it and also the cons. Another con, I kind of felt it was a little unorganized, because when you come in, you have to go through security and then you have to wait online, and it's a little confusing as to which line you have to wait on, because they also had another program there that I never heard about, and that program is the J51 program, which I'm going to do a little bit more research on. But from what I gather, the government actually is giving you money. It's a grant to own property, an apartment building, for 10 years, and there's a 10-year tax abatement that goes along with that. And if you make it affordable, you also qualify for the affordable tax abatement as well. So all these years studying real estate, going to school, going to these gurus, nobody even mentioned that. So what I learned from this experience was, wherever you choose to invest in, it's best to go visit the housing department and see what housing programs they have to offer, because when you go to school, they don't tell you. They just basically tell you, go to the bank, find a private lender, or a hard money lender, but they don't let you know about the government programs, grant programs that will give you money to buy property. So that's something to take note of. Excuse me if I look down, but I took notes, and it's quite a bit. Now, the next thing I wanted to jump back on is the Till1 program. As I mentioned before in a previous video, the Till1 program allows tenants to buy their apartments for $250, and then it converts the whole apartment building from a regular rental apartment building into a co-op. Now, $250 in New York City is a bargain. It is very hard to come by here. But when you're in the if your building is converting through the Till program, you can get it for that amount of money. And if I'm not mistaken, the maintenance is also in the $200 range. Unless you're a senior citizen, then you're paying like $150. Now, if a building has already converted to the Till program, you are not going to pay $250. You have to move into the building before they decide to convert the building. And if you move into the building, it used to be $2,000 to pay for that apartment. Now it's $2,500 to buy that particular apartment. They give you training on how to be a building owner and also how to manage the building finance. So that is all free training that is included in converting it from an apartment building to a co-op. In order to do that, though, it has to be a city-owned building or previously a city-owned building, and the tenant association has to be really, really strong. The next thing is that I wanted to mention is I did meet a lady who actually was in a building. They had just converted 4 years ago into the Till program and everything was okay. Unfortunately, it's a 6-unit building. The people that were on the board, I believe 1 or 2 died, and the other person, he's too sick to be on the board. Now, the issue is nobody else wants to be on the board. So for the whole year, they have not paid their taxes. The city of New York is really strict with that. So they sent them a foreclosure notice saying that if they don't get their money, that they're going to foreclose on the property. I looked into it further. I couldn't stay with her because I had my own issues that I had to deal with. I looked into it further, and from what I gathered, what I found out, even though 70% of the buildings in Till are successful, there's a 30% that are not. And what she's going through is one of the reasons why it's not, is because people don't want to be in the Tenants Association, or sometimes there's also conflicts between the Tenants Association and other people for various reasons. Most of the reasons, to be honest, is due to ego, a little bit of bullying, and then there's also passiveness. So when you have too much of that in a building, it's not going to be, the program will not be successful. And some of those residents, unfortunately, did become homeless, which is unfortunate, but it has happened. What the city has done to sort of lighten that up is they have something called a third-party transfer program. That program is for real estate developers and investors, but mainly developers. What they will do is they buy the property at its foreclosed value, not its main value, but the foreclosed value. Then they go in, they fix up the apartment. If they choose, and they normally do, choose to leave some of the apartments affordable so that they can get that affordability tax credit, sometimes they don't. And then the other problem is this: even if they choose to leave the apartments affordable, a lot of times it's not for $250. It's a lot more than that. And in New York City, it depends on the location, just like anywhere else in the United States. It depends on the location. So if you're in the Lower East Side, affordable apartments down there go for $4,000 a month. A lot of those people who are paying $250 a month cannot afford the $4,000 a month rent. So that's how they become homeless, or they struggle to find another apartment to live. In Harlem, you can get a 1-bedroom for $1,500, but that's still not affordable for a lot of people. So that's another reason why it's really good if you get along with your tenants association, and if your tenants association is strong, and if people realize that whoever is running the tenants association, whoever is in there, if they realize that, this person cannot be part of the association forever, and then eventually you might have to step in and work in the tenants association, then it can continue. And I think it probably since her building is a 6-unit building, I think the part of the problem is that it's only 6 people there. I think it would have been better if it was a building that had like 125 people, because if you don't want to step in, there's normally at least somebody else that will say, hey, I'm going to step in and I'm going to help manage the building finances and whatever else needs to be done for our building so that we can keep it affordable. So that is what I see. And there have been a few people, including some people that I know, who have gone to the district and said, hey, we need to have, I forgot what you call it, conflict resolution classes. Because the classes that they give, they say the classes are good. They basically show them how to maintain the building, maintain their property, and manage the finances, but there's nothing on conflict resolution. And that would probably help save a lot of buildings. The other thing that I think is good, but it's only in one small district in Manhattan, and that is there is a forum for everybody who's in the Till program to go to. It's not open to the whole borough or to the whole city. And I think that if there can be something, either each district, or if there could be a forum, like a fair that's held every year or so, where the buildings that are in trouble can talk to the people who are successful, who are in the program, to give them whatever additional tips they may need in order to keep their property affordable. Or, maybe they can have something where someone in another building can step in and be part of their tenants association, who might want to be on the board, but maybe they have too many board members where they are. I don't know. I'm just making a suggestion right there. Now, there's also another program that I found out about that I didn't know last time. There's something called Till2. And Till2 is the same. You buy your apartment for $250. And it's the same, a little over $200 a month for maintenance. But in that program, the difference is that the tenants actually get to choose their developer and tells their developer what needs to get fixed in the building. And then lastly, I found out there's another program called ANCP. I'll be providing the links after the video is done. ANCP is where the tenants choose a developer, they fix the building, but they agree that they have to pay $2,500 in order to buy their apartment building. And then the other thing is the tenants association does not run that building. The developer runs that building as a property manager. And again, they also qualify for the property, for the affordable tax credit. And again, if someone moves to New York and they move into that building after it's been converted, they're going to pay a much higher price than somebody who was there. And I believe with ANCP, I think if you move in after, I don't think it's 2000, I think it's a little bit more, but it's still not market. It's normally still not the market price for buying an apartment. Okay. Oh, and then also with the Till2 program, they accept people with Section 8 vouchers. So I wanted to also apologize. The website that I posted last time, the phone number in there has changed. So I'm going to post another website with another contact person who's in the Till2 program, and you can ask her about Till1, or you could also call 311 for more information. I also wanted to apologize. I was wrong about one other thing. I thought the program started 15 years ago because when I moved into my neighborhood that I'm in now, which was a little bit more than 15 years ago. The buildings on my block, many of them converted into the Till program. So I thought it was something new. But come to find out, after going down to HPD, this program has been around since 1978. So this is something else. Again, you go to take some real estate classes, they don't teach you these things. You have to go to your building department, your housing department, and find out this information. Oh, and then lastly, somebody had asked me on another video if they have something like this in DC, and I found out, yes, they do have this in DC and Virginia. In Virginia, it's called Tenant and Purchase, and some parts of Virginia, I think it's Reston, they call it Tenant Lease to Purchase, where if a building, let's say the bank foreclosed on the building owner, but the tenants don't want to move, that those tenants have the right to buy the building. I don't know exactly for how much, exactly what the maintenance is, but they do have the right to do that, because I found in Alexandria, Reston, and another city, I can't remember the name, in Virginia, where they have that program as well. And in DC, it's called Tenant Purchase Opportunity Act, where, again, the difference here is if the owner wants to sell the building, if they foreclose it, or if the city says they want to demolish it and the tenants do not want to move out, they can go to a lawyer, and if you need any assistance with that, you can put in the comments below, and appeal to him, go to the housing department in DC, and apply for the tenant purchase opportunity. Well, it's a law, but there's like forms that you have to fill out. And 9 times out of 10, if you have people in that building who are senior citizens or who are disabled, then the government will grant them the right to buy their apartment. And normally the maintenance, if I'm not mistaken, is only a couple of $100. So, and it's for the tenant's lifetime. See, with the others, it's normally like 30 years or something like that. There's a sort of limit, a year limit. But with the one in DC, it's a lifetime, your lifetime. And if your children live with you, I believe it covers them as well. They would just pay that same price. There's no limit. So that's what I wanted to correct for you guys. Sorry about what I was saying yesterday. Like, I knew what I wanted to say, but for some reason after I played the video, I was like, oh my God, I said the wrong thing. So I said, let me do this video over, clear everything up, and hopefully we're on the same page. I also want to encourage everybody, whatever state you move to or you want to invest in, go to your local housing department, speak to one of the officials, and find out what type of program that they have to help you if you're a first-time home buyer or if you're an investor, because there is free money, free grant money out there for you to purchase property. But you're not going to get that information going to school and becoming a realtor or an appraiser. They're not giving you that information. You have to go to your local housing department and find out what grants will be given to you. Now, HUD does have grants for specific individuals as well, but sometimes the local housing department has additional grants that they give you, or that you might qualify for, that you might not you might find that you don't qualify when you go to the HUD office. So that is one thing I want to encourage you guys. And then the other thing too to add is the neighborhood housing services. They also, it's a small grant towards your closing costs. Go and find your local neighborhood housing services and find out what what it is that they offer to you as either a first-time home buyer or even a person who already owns homes. And then forgot to mention this. One thing that I did find out, oh Lord, I didn't copy it down. There is, if you are a senior citizen or know somebody who's a senior citizen over 65 years old, there is a free grant program that I found out about that helps them repair their home or convert their home into a condo. Because there was one lady that I met there. She had a rooming house. She and her husband lived in one area, and they wanted to convert the others into condos. And the city was giving, I think it's $100,000. I know it's not enough, but I forgot exactly the amount. But I mean, it's a good amount of money to repair the house and to make that conversion. As for me, because I'm under 65, they only offered me a 2 to 5% loan in order to make any repairs that I wanted to make. And then there was also an income limit as well. And then there's a term limit, meaning when they give you this money, well, it's more stricter for the seniors. When they give them the money, they have to not only live in the apartment, in one of the apartments in the building, they have to be there for 10 years. So I hope that helps you guys out. I will be putting the links in when this video is finished. It may take me a while because what I noticed is for some reason Facebook does not always let me know when my video is ready to be published, or whatever the correct terminology is. So give me some time and I will post those links below. Bye for now, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.